Picture this. You've worked incredibly hard. You've paid into the system for years and years, and when you finally need to access your healthcare or your pension, you just hit a wall. A massive, frustrating, bureaucratic wall built entirely out of a simple misspelled name, maybe a single wrong digit in your birth date, or an outdated gender marker sitting in the IMSS database. It's incredibly frustrating, right? But unfortunately, it's actually super common. So today, we're going to look at exactly how you can tear that wall down. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a really deep dive into a fantastic, highly practical dossier compiled by Dr. R. Leopoldo Cruz Balbuena. We are going to take what honestly might look like a dry, pretty intimidating administrative document and transform it into a clear, empowering survival guide for you. Our goal here? To give you the exact tools you need to protect your rights and make absolutely sure your paperwork is working for you, not against you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. 1. The data problem. 2. What is the procedure? 3. Key documents and requirements. 4. Special cases and representation. And 5. Legal response times.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the data problem, and why updating your information actually matters.
First things first, we really have to normalize this issue. Look, errors happen. As the dossier points out, having incorrect registry data in government systems, well, it can just be the result of a simple human typo, a random computer glitch, or maybe just a real-life update to your own personal situation. But getting it fixed is absolutely crucial if you want to access your IMSS benefits. Now, the official procedure is formally called regularization and/or correction of your personal data at the IMS, and it's tracked under a specific administrative code, the homoclave IMSS 02012. And here is the absolute best news right up front. Whether you're an insured individual, a pensioner, or a beneficiary, this whole procedure is completely free. I mean, that's a pretty rare treat in the world of bureaucracy.
Moving right along to Section 2. What is the procedure and what exactly can you change?
So the crucial point is that you can't just go in and change anything arbitrarily. The IMSS has a very strict list of 6 specific data points that actually fall under this procedure. You can update your name, your date of birth, your place of birth, your gender, your unique population registry code, the CURP, and your social security number, the NSS. These 6 pieces of information are the literal keys to unlocking your healthcare and pension benefits. If even a single one of these is off, the system basically won't recognize you properly.
Now, you might be wondering how you actually do this. Well, the IMS has modernized a ton. You now have 2 distinct paths to get this sorted. The traditional route is in person at your local subdelegation. They're open Monday through Friday, strictly from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And if you go this route, you absolutely must bring your original documents. But thanks to a major regulatory shift, specifically this 2013 agreement aimed at cutting through red tape, you can now do this entirely online using scanned documents. They've built digital tools to make this easier than ever, saving you a huge trip to the office.
Which brings us to Section 3, key documents and requirements. Let's look at the necessary paperwork.
We all know bureaucracy loves its paper, so you need to be prepared before you start. Here is your essential checklist. You're going to need a certified copy of your birth certificate, a valid official ID, your CUP, a recent proof of address, an official IMSS document that very clearly shows your social security number, and finally, the official application form for the data correction. And remember what we just talked about? If you're going in person, you have to have the physical originals ready to hand over. If you're doing the digital platform, make sure you have high-quality, totally legible scans of every single page.
Next up is Section 4, Special Cases and Representation, covering gender changes and family procedures.
Now, this is a deeply important aspect of modern administrative law. If you are updating your name and gender to align with your gender identity, which the dossier calls sex-gender concordance, a simple form just isn't going to cut it. Because this is a major jurisdictional shift, the IMS requires the actual sentence or judgment issued by the corresponding court that officially reassigns this data. And on top of that court judgment, you also have to present all your newly issued primary documents reflecting your correct name and gender. So what happens if you're acting on behalf of someone else? Well, you can absolutely use a legal representative with a power of attorney, but the dossier also outlines a really common, albeit tragic, scenario, correcting the data of a deceased insured person so the family can claim their benefits. To do this, you first need the insured's death certificate. Then you have to legally prove your relationship. Spouses need a marriage certificate. Concubines require a formal testimonial certificate of concubinage. Children need their grit certificate. And parents need their valid official ID.
The system has these rules laid out clearly so families can secure exactly what they're owed. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Legal Response Times. This is all about your rights against the clock. Let's move to this and see how it builds, because the law actually puts incredibly strict deadlines on the IMSS. If there's a missing document or some minor issue with your application, they have exactly 1 working day to notify you. That's called a prevención. Now, if everything is in perfect order, the standard maximum response time is just 2 working days, literally 2 days. However, if your case is complex, say you have multiple social security numbers or you share an exact name with someone else, which is known as home enemy, that timeline expands out to 40 working days. And finally, we hit the ultimate backstop at 3 months, which leads us to a very, very specific legal concept. Okay, so what if you submit your perfectly organized packet and the IMSC just totally ghosts you for 3 full months? Well, you aren't just left in limbo forever. The dossier highlights a really crucial principle here called negativa ficta. In plain English, if the authority fails to respond within 3 months, the law automatically considers your request to be officially rejected. Now, I know rejection sounds bad, but it's actually a real game changer. It's a legal mechanism that frees you from endless waiting and allows you to immediately take further legal action to enforce your rights. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where this right comes from. If we look at this extract from Dr. Cruz Balbuena's dossier, we can see the actual text of Article 17 of the Federal Law of Administrative Procedure. It clearly lays out this 3-month limit and the whole concept of the negative response. By anchoring these concepts in the actual legal framework, the dossier proves that these aren't just polite guidelines. No, these are concrete, actionable rights that you possess as a citizen navigating the public administration. To wrap up all this information from the dossier, I think it's important to realize that rectifying your personal data isn't just some frustrating bureaucratic chore that you have to slog through. Fundamentally, it's about protection. Precise, updated data protects your direct access to the healthcare, the pensions, and the services you're legally entitled to. And from the other side of things, it actually allows the IMSS itself to operate with much greater efficiency and properly manage its massive public resources. It really is a win-win for both the citizen and the state.
So, we've covered the what, the how, and the why of correcting your information at the IMSS. But I want to leave you with a thought to really chew on. Everything we've discussed today hinges on the absolute fact that your data is the literal key to your rights. So I have to ask, when was the last time you actually looked at your IMSS records? Are you absolutely sure, right at this very moment, that there isn't a single typo hiding in there just waiting to cause a massive headache when you least expect it? It might just be worth taking 5 minutes today to go check.